the copyright on 2019. We're one of the first theater groups, the Phantom Players, that did it, and the Phantom Galilee Ministries or something. Usually church groups do it, and they're trying to branch into like more religious style plays to get the religious people to come out, because the religious people like theater too. Am I boring you?
No. I'm just yawning.
Can someone bring us some Dayquil? And never mix up the Dayquil and the NyQuil, especially if you're going to start driving a car or something. All right, now, so we were one of the first theater groups to do this show at the Book of Esther, and it was really good. We had like about 10 songs in it, and dancing, and I did a little dancing and singing. I didn't do much dancing. I did a lot of singing though, and if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see a lot of pictures.
I did a lot of singing too.
You did singing too, yeah. You the way you were dressed, you kind of like the pictures of Mary in the Bible, Jesus' mother.
Yes.
You were dressed kind of like, I mean, that was the style for, I guess, women in those days, like 600 BCE, as we say. And then we had a Haman, who was a very good actor. And a lot of these same people are going to be in Guys and Dolls. So you always be nice to people in the theater, because you're probably going to make another show with them.
Yes.
And it was a good show, but that's in the past. That's in the past.
That's in the past.
Now we have a new show. It's Guys and Dolls, and I'm going to be playing Big Julie. And who are you playing?
I'm playing Angie the Ox.
Angie the Ox.
Yeah.
Everyone has a funny name. There's Harry the Horse. There's Nicely, Sky Masterson, of course, and all those good parts. Adelaide, and so is Sarah, of course. And a lot of the singing is done by 4 people. So I'm trying to get a song in when I can, and I was just told that I'm going to be at the beginning of the show singing the opening number of Guys and Dolls with 2 other people.
I'll be having a solo too.
Yeah, well, tell us about your solo.
I'm not really sure what song it will be, but I know I'm going to have a solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He's going to luck be a lady tonight.
Maybe, who knows?
Maybe you'll sing that.
Yeah.
Can I sing that? No, I think Sky Masters sing that.
I think Sky Masterson mostly sings that.
The first song in there is I got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere, and the guy says that if the weather's clear. Now you know the rest of it, but it's actually a fugue for tin horns. Now, if you don't know what a fugue is, you probably see it like in classical music concerts and on records. A fugue is where it starts beginning and then it starts repeating in kind of like a round. 3 blind mice, row your boat. You see, you didn't know what a fugue was. Now I'm telling you what a fugue is. And this is and then I'm the third guy who comes in.
Yes.
And I talk about, the first one talks about Paul Revere, and then the second one talks about Valentine, and then I talk about Epitaph.
Yes.
It's all just 2 minutes long, but I'm very excited about this. Also, in the part I play in Guys and Dolls, I actually have. I'm actually from Chicago. It all takes place in New York, Times Square and everything. So I play the guy from Cicero, New York. Cicero, Illinois, he actually says, because he's kind of a tough guy. And I'm going to be playing a tough guy. I'm a really good actor. Playing a tough guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, they evidently couldn't get Barry Manilow to play the tough guy, so I'm going to play the tough guy.
He's already. His name is Big Julie.
Big Julie. They couldn't get Mr. Rogers because he's dead to play the tough guy, so I'm going to play the tough guy. Anyway, we always like to talk about food and show business, and we always, and we're going to make an appearance on Friday. I have something that I think you're going to like. We do this every once in a while on Mary's show, but we've never done this on Kaye Lazar's Cavalcade of Fun. We're going to talk about it first. It's not a commercial for Pepsi. In fact, I wish you didn't see. This is like the flag of South Korea here.
Oh.
No, it's actually Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know why it's in a yellow can? Because it's an Easter version of Pepsi. It's made with Peeps.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how this tastes, so why don't you try it? Why don't you try it first?
I'll try it first. Yeah.
And you take the first sip, and I'm going to try, and I'll talk about this. This is they have these special flavors and everything. Delicious, right?
Delicious.
I feel like that. Remember that show, Cooking Cheap, with the two hillbillies that were cooking all the time.
Yes.
And I remember they would eat stuff, and then they would make a face. Ooh, that tastes interesting. Well, let's try this. Okay. This is actually, I think I see a little bit of it. It's like yellow Pepsi. All right. If cough syrup had bubbles. This will put you to sleep, I'll tell you. Actually, not too bad. A lot of these stoves, you think you're going to hate them, but then you hate them up here, but then when they get down to here, you'll start liking them. But while we're drinking, we have the same. We're having the same dinner tonight.
Yes.
Chocolate chip cookies, seltzer water, and Pepsi Cola. How about that?
Yeah.
With Peeps in it.
Yes.
It's almost like Easter every day here.
Yes.
Can you imagine what Easter every day would be like?
Yeah.
Eating nothing but chocolate bunny ears and painted hard-boiled eggs and everything. And those hollow chocolate, anyway, and that green grass. But you don't eat that. I think you just throw it away.
Smoke.
You smoke that. Yeah, roll it up. Anyway, let me tell you something. I get fed up with people who want to put you in a little box and say, this is how you should live. Do you ever have that problem? Like, not so much as an adult, but as a kid, I had that problem a lot. Like, the teachers ever give you a hard time? Why can't you do things like everyone else? You know, did they ever say that to you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, well, they said that to me all the time. If you wanted to know what I was like in school, just imagine the blackboard, my name on it all the time for talking in class. There was a revolving door at the principal's office, and I got so many letters home for talking in class, always, you know. And let me tell you something. The teachers would send stuff, and they tell me not to talk so much, and I would always be talking to the. And sometimes I couldn't really whisper or anything. I still don't really whisper so much. So someone would go, hey, Kaye Lazar. And I say, what? What did you say? And then, of course, the teacher only heard the "what did you say?" I have a sister that used to do the same thing with my dad. He said, he goes, what? And he goes, what? And he goes, I can't hear a word you're saying. She goes, oh, forget it. But I wasn't that way. I still wanted to know what was going on. Usually when people used to tell me to forget it, that's what I wanted to. Then I really wanted to know what they were saying. But I was always being, these letters. And let me tell you something. I was always joking around in class. I was always talking in class. I was always talking to my neighbor, as they say. These aren't my neighbors. But I lived out in the sticks. I tell you how far out in the country I lived. The head of the Dollar General store was a bear. That's how far out in the country I lived. But anyway, so I had a barnyard sense of humor and everything, and they just loved it. In fact, I lived so far out in the country, Hee Haw was on the educational television channel. So anyway, but let me tell you, let me just get to the point. My teachers thought and going to the principal and getting notes home and all this stuff and telling my mom what's the matter with this kid and everything. He never shuts up. It was such a fruitless endeavor because if they thought they were going to cure me of not talking, I talk even more now. Then I was actually knew when to shut up. Now I never stop. But, you know, everywhere I go, people are always, in fact, I'm always told, you know what people have said to me more often than anything, even as an adult? Why do you always have to be different?
Well.
Why do I always have to be different?
Yeah.
The way I dress, the way I talk, the way I dress. I got the, this is from the Pepto-Bismol collection. And and people would, they would, so in fact, it's always been like, people always want you to conform to, they want to just, it's actually better now than it was then. When I was growing up, it was stultifying. People didn't want you to do anything different. I'd wear long sleeves in the summertime. Don't you want to be comfortable? Aren't you hot? And I said, no, it never gets too hot for a guy like me. I'm always cool. And I don't believe in being comfortable. To me, being comfortable is looking your best.
Yeah.
Other people can look comfortable and look fine. I can't look like that. I mean, maybe catch me at home. But when I'm out and about with people, I'm putting on a show for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
This is what I want to do. And that's how I'm comfortable. Making friends, being friendly.
Yeah.
I was never one of those people that just sit around.
Yeah.
I tell you, every time I'm out with a beautiful woman or or it's like this lovely woman, I always have to dance.
Yes.
I can't sit and watch people. I'm not a wallflower. I'm always the first one on the dance floor, no matter where I go. Somebody has to be the first one on the dance floor. I was one of my proudest moments when I was how old was I? 10 years old.
Yeah.
Was they had a band come from like the Army band from Fort Lee.
Yeah.
And they played all this like rock and roll music from I guess 1970. I mean, there was a 1970s.
Yeah.
And I just got up and started dancing, and then everybody followed me out there.
Yeah.
I said, well, somebody had to do it. You have to wait. I'll tell you another thing I do. When I'm in a movie theater, and the projector starts skipping, and then it gets out, everyone just looks at each other.
Yeah.
Are you going to go and ask the usher to tell the projectionist to fix the projector?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think someone else is going to do it. I said, no, someone's got to do it. I better do it. Jobs I've had, people, say, well, who's gonna sweep the floor? Who's gonna make the copies? Who's going to make the coffee or the copies? Making the copy. And then I suddenly realized, well, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I better start doing it.
Yeah.
I remember, anytime you spill anything, at work, I tell you what, the hole puncher, all that confetti that falls on the floor.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time when I'm at the law firm.
Yeah.
So what happened was, so here I am. I either pick it up each piece if it's not a big pile, or I get the pan, when that does it. Or, there's, for every 10 people that tell you how you could do it better, that equals one person that'll probably help you do it. It's true. Everyone would walk by, no one would help me, but they'd say, if you use if you used a Band-Aid and just stuck it on your lid and just picked it up like that, you would do it a lot faster.
Yeah.
But, I said, well, do you have a Band-Aid? No, I don't. I'm just a consultant here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always being told, why do you always have to be different? Why do you always have to be different? Because that's what I do.
Yes.
There's a famous writer, Leo Rosten. He wrote The Joys of Yiddish.
Yeah.
And he was talking about being Jewish.
Yeah.
And he said to be Jewish is to always be an exception.
Yeah.
So everywhere I go, you know, a lot of times I go to restaurants.
Yeah.
And they think I like own the place. If I just kind of meander on in and start looking around. I was at the Comic-Con, earlier this year.
Back in March.
Yeah, I was wearing a tuxedo. I was walking around. I was the only one wearing a tuxedo. Even though there were a lot of people wearing nice costumes,
Yeah.
Spider-Man and everything. And I was wearing a tuxedo. And one guy said, I was walking around where they were selling, I think, keychains or something.
Yeah.
He goes, is this $6? And I said, it's free. Just take it and walk out with it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the guys heard it. He goes, no, he doesn't work here. It's not free. It's $6. And I just, they were laughing. And he says, I thought you looked like a guy that was running the place. I said, yeah, I don't run anything.
Yeah.
Running a thing is not easy.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get promoted to jobs.
Yeah.
And you know what that first job, when you were promoted like to manager or something?
Yeah.
Okay, your first job is to fire that guy. Then you're one of us. I know he's your brother-in-law. But you gotta fire him. because we don't take you seriously as a. See, I could never do that.
Yeah.
I've been fired so many times. No, I've never been fired. I've been asked to resign, about 30 or 40 times, but
Yeah.
I've never been fired.
Yeah.
So why didn't you fire me? I said, because it looks better on your resume if you quit.
Yeah.
I said, my resume is already a pack of lies. It's already a Chinese box that you open and a bunch of Russian dolls. When you get to the last one, it's empty.
Yeah.
And and of course, work is the same way.
Right.
I always try to do things a little differently from everyone else. My answer machine. I still use my answer machine to sing songs,
Yeah.
do imitations and everything. And right now, I think I got a song from Aladdin. I think before that, I had a song from Cabaret. Put my own words to it. This is Kaye Lazar's house, Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, my boss of a job I had like 6 years ago
Yeah.
called me up like on the weekend because she wanted me to do something.
Wow.
And she left a message, and then she says, that's not a very professional answer machine message. And so I got to work and didn't change it at all. I said, who the hell is she to tell me? I have to change my answer machine message. She's going to decide what type of underwear I'm going to wear in the future. She's going to decide, can I still write with my right hand? Do I have to be left-handed now? Gosh. And I think there's a problem in the school system. I think it's probably built into the problem. You can't really do much about it. Is they want people to just cookie cutter crank out. Now I think there's more of now people have their own say. I mean, used to be when I was growing up, there's just boys and girls. Now there's so many different types of genders.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, The people should be who they want.
Yeah.
But there was, I'll give you a good example. When I was a kid, if you wore a dress, if you were a boy and you wore a dress, oh boy, you could have been, you never heard the end of it. Even in a drag show, when I say a drag show, even like the school variety show or something, and you wore a dress, and men wearing dresses are funny. Yeah. But, at least in a comedy show.
Yeah.
But if I went in public and wore that I'd have to make a speech and say it's a kilt, but it's solid blue. I said that's our tartan. We're actually in Scotland. We're a very dull family. We don't have a tartan like other people. Our tartan is navy blue. But that doesn't even look like a kilt. It's more of a cocktail dress. I said, oh really?
Yeah.
So oh gosh, who dare? Oh, we have some. We're going to have a guest coming on shortly. Why don't you sit over there, and that's his chair. Unless you're going to be the cameraman. All right, now, and let's see what else is going on.
How about the podcast?
Oh, listen to this. I'm glad you mentioned that. Sit down over there, and you could listen if you want to. Because of my nonconformity. Oh, by the way, before I get to what I was going to talk about, nonconformity. I remember when I was in high school, and I had a date with a girl, and she said that she was the biggest nonconformist ever, but all she ever talked about was getting married. I said, well, that's pretty conforming, if you ask me. You just want what everyone else wants. And then she'd tell me, you're not like my ex-boyfriend. He was always telling me about her ex-boyfriend. And that's why she's not married to me. I don't think she's married at all. But anyway, and this is like 20 years later. She would always talk about what a nonconformist she was. And she'd always talk about how her ex-boyfriend was a nonconformist. Yet they were pretty black. Well, actually, he wasn't. So he actually wound up on the Johnny Carson show. How can I compete with that? Well, no, it wasn't the Johnny Carson. It was the Johnny Carson show, but Jay Leno was the host. He was the co-host. It was the guest host that week. But he got on that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually a nice guy. If you look up people from Richmond, you'll know who I'm talking about. Who was on that show. But I tried to be different, and I tried to live differently, and I tried to act differently, and look differently. I try to be unique. Unique. You know what unique means? One of a kind.
One of a kind.
Yeah. You can't be very unique, as a lot of people say. It's like being very pregnant. But I was, because of my iconoclast lifestyle, Jerry Williams, a longtime friend of mine, we've been friends for years, has a show, and I recommend you listen to it on the internet. It's called, you go on tvjerry.com, and I appeared on it last week, or about 2 weeks ago. I think he has Betty Boudin on it now, but his most recent one. But I'm the one before. If you go on tvjerry.com, I'm not going to give you the long link, but you could go on there and you could. And if you're not tired of listening to me yammer on for an hour.
Betty Boudin was on Q94.
That's right. But I've never been on local radio, and I've never been like a DJ on local. I always wanted to be. I've actually applied, and I was Betty Boudin is actually a friend of mine. Her real name. This is not Betty Boudin. But what's weird is, and they're all friends of mine, and I'm the announcer at the State Fair, and a lot of those people are on radio, are announcers at the State Fair, and I know them. They're all friends of mine. They're all nice people. But let me tell you, I would apply. I have to stop doing this because I don't even think they have DJs anymore. So they just have someone from New York, Casey Kasem, the ghost of Casey Kasem, or Cousin Brucey, or whatever, all the famous Wolfman Jack, those guys, Rush Limbaugh, all those guys put all the DJs out the pasture. We can't get work anymore. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we are doing. We're town criers now. We'll shout at on the sidewalks if anyone wants to hear us. But anyway, so I would apply. And sometimes I've actually gotten interviews, and they didn't hire me. And the reason why they didn't hire me, one station manager said, the reason why we didn't hire you, Kevin, is because you were a little too out there. You're a little bit too different from all the other DJs. And we want a typical DJ that's not going to make waves. It's not. And I actually said to them, you don't know me at all. I could be that guy. I can be as boring as you want. if you're paying the piper, if I'm the piper, you can call the tune.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. You know the phrase. But and I was actually flabbergasted. And they said, well, part of the reason why saying words like flabbergasted, our audience does not know what that means. We don't want the man who invented Scrabble. we don't want Roger himself as a DJ. A lot of people think that DJs are always playing, they think that DJs are playing their favorite music. No, they're playing what we're told to play. And, we hold our nose sometimes when we have to play the latest, the latest, who's someone we don't like? The Archies. No, the Archies are good. The latest, I don't know. I like all music. I can't think of anyone I don't like.
I love all music too.
Yeah.
So.
The latest, Jerry Vale, okay.
Yeah.
Put you to sleep. I think we mentioned him last week.
Yeah.
He's an easy target.
Yeah.
Anyway, the time has come to, our special guest is here. And he will, and now we will introduce him. This is a man who has come to us at great expense. And so without any further delay, here he is. Huh?
Want to sit that chair?
No, I will stand because I can, if you could just make it bigger, get this all there. And Mr. Vincent Mac,
Yes.
right here. Right here.
Yay!
Sorry we don't have music to play for you, but...
Oh, remember, this is not an expensive show.
This is... We actually were going to do this show with walkie-talkies at one time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
In fact, it wasn't even walkie-talkies we were going to do the show with. We were going to do it with two Dixie cups and a piece of
How you
string.
doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mary Elizabeth. It's nice to see you and Kevin again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it was.
Isn't that adorable?
Oh, it's like trying to come down Interstate 95.
Yeah.
It's a pain and a half.
Yeah.
And it's when you come from Northern Virginia, you might as well have a cot and sleep out there with a tent. It's that bad.
Oh,
It's
man.
that bad, yes.
Let me get you... we always like to feed the people here.
Yes.
We have bubbly water or flat water.
Flat water.
All right.
Thank you.
Flat is your personality. It's really... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And we have cookies for you.
Oh, cool.
Cookie.
Yeah.
You have one?
Yeah.
Take two.
Let's see. Thank you.
All right.
They feed the peoples.
Yeah,
That's what separates this show from
Yeah.
everybody else.
I know. We believe in.
Thank you,
We
Kevin.
believe in people. Everybody eats when they come to my house.
So,
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
Speaking of food, guess what I bought the other day?
what?
That popcorn tin with the caramel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
cheese popcorn and the plain popcorn.
Yes.
Oh.
And the caramel is like, I think, more than a third of it, which is good because that's what I like the best. And the cheese is good, but I can make my own regular popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Popcorn is not that hard to make.
No,
But I don't usually buy these things other than Christmas time. But what you're really buying is the tin.
Right.
This tin had Spider-Man all over it.
Oh.
So I can use it to put coffee in or something. Put the quinoa or something, one of those garbagey things I always eat. All that health food I eat. Except for today.
So are they celebrating the movie or something?
Yeah, the new Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
It's a damn cartoon. Well, it's like all these different Spider-Men. I think Spider-Man should just be one guy.
Yeah.
The Tobey Maguire or whoever's playing him now.
Yeah,
So
well,
Holland.
they say this movie's pretty good, so I'm going to try to check it out.
They're all good, these movies, but they're all the same. So Somebody actually said that it's a good thing they make these movies because they're the only movies people ever go to see, and they make sure that all the other movies are made. Clint Eastwood said that he only makes movies. He makes all these serious movies, but he's only allowed to make them because every once in a while he has to play Dirty Harry for the 7th or 8th time.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry in the in the convalescent center.
Yeah.
Do you feel lucky, punk?
Yeah.
Was that the first one?
Do you feel lucky, punk? Yeah, I met Clint once.
How was he?
It was very nice.
Cool.
I met him. In fact, I mentioned on the podcast that I met a whole bunch of celebrities. Let me tell you, I hadn't finished talking about Jerry. And I was like, 45 minutes ago, I was talking about him. Now I'm coming back to him. Jerry asked me about, my life and all the. I gave him the greatest hits. And I told him about this day I'd spent in Las Vegas at the Buster Douglas fight.
Ooh.
And he lost to Evander Holyfield. And all the celebrities were there. And I didn't meet them all. There were so many of them, but I did meet quite a few.
Okay.
And I met Clint Eastwood. And this is not on the podcast, but I'll tell you how I met Mel Gibson and I met O.J. Simpson. I met Chevy Chase, all the heroes. But anyway, I did. And anyway, and you'll hear more about it on Jerry, tvjerry.com, and listen to all his stuff on there. He made the film with our friend Gorgeous George and our friend Brent. He made that movie Dirt Woman. They were here in that movie.
Yes.
And Jerry's a longtime friend of mine. So anyway, so this is the funny story about Clint. So Clint was, I saw Tony Danza, okay? And I said, I'd like to meet Tony Danza.
Okay.
But Tony Danza, walked right by me and went into this room. It looked like the bathroom. There was a men's room, ladies' room, and a, employees only room. So maybe a secret entrance to something. So I said, well, I guess he'll come out shortly. And I'll wait for him. Maybe he's in the bathroom. I don't know. He's not in the ladies' room. So I'm waiting. I wait about a few minutes. And then the door swung open just for a moment, and I see Clint Eastwood. So I said, Clint Eastwood? Tony Danza? Who's that? So Clint walks out, and I'm the first one to see him. So I ran up to him and started walking alongside of him and tapped him on the shoulder. He's tall guy. He's like 6'5" or something.
Jeez.
And he said, and I said, keep up the good work, Clint. He goes, I certainly will. He smiled, and then at that point, everybody noticed Clint. Clint, and he started just shaking hands. He was moving. He didn't stop to talk to anybody because they're all there for the fight.
Yeah.
Also, I met Steven Spielberg.
Oh.
Not a lot of people did not know who Steven Spielberg looked like. They knew who he was, but didn't know. But I recognized him, and I said, now they do, but at the time, this is like 1989 or something. And I said, I took his picture, and he says, "Thank you for taking my picture." Nobody recognizes me here. Now they would recognize me.
Right.
And then I saw him at that same week. I saw Wynton Marsalis, the trumpeter.
Yeah.
I mean that same week he was on the cover of Time. And then I just see him, and no one was talking. And then I took his picture and shook his hand, and he was very nice. And what was surprising was he. He was on the cover of Time the week before. You think people would have He was upset that people weren't recognizing him either. These people, but there were people that you did recognize. Like I saw Nicolas Cage and Charlie Sheen and Tom Lasorda and
Tommy Lasorda,
Agassi. There's a lot of ball players I had a hard time recognizing because they didn't wear their uniforms, their costumes. But yeah, but that was a big day. I'm giving you the cliff notes to my podcast with Clint, and it's important to note that I don't usually give interviews. So this is one of the few interviews I give. The reason why I don't give interviews is because I do so many podcasts.
That's right.
Even with my friend Jerry, I had to say to him, I listened to the last few interviews you did because I wanted to make sure you weren't a a Mike Wallace type interview. Is this
Mike
your
Wallace.
Yeah? Is this your underwear? Let's take a look. You know, Mike Wallace.
Minutes.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Mike Wallace. He was like the real star of 60 Minutes. And once him and Andy Rooney left the show and died. And they died like about the same time, like the same month or so. I have no reason to watch 60 Minutes anymore. So anyway, Mike Wallace. I was just thinking about Mike Wallace like a couple of weeks ago, and I was thinking, if you were like at work, all right, and you're just doing your job,
Right.
and you see Mike Wallace in the hall,
Right.
with his camera crew,
Okay.
I would get up. I'd lock myself in the bathroom until he leaves. Because he might corner me and ask, you know what type of work, you know what type of business this is?
And then you're stuck with an interview.
Yeah. And then I'll be the fall guy. Bring it down.
Now, Clint Eastwood, I know he's done a lot of movies,
Yeah.
a lot of TV shows, but I think he should do one more movie. And it'll be like, what, the
93.
93, yeah. He can do like, what, the 9th or 10th installment of Dirty Harry. And this time it will be Dirty Harry at the nursing home.
Well, you know, there was a movie he made called Gran Torino.
Yes, I
Where he
saw
plays
that.
an old retired guy.
Yes.
But actually, that was actually envisioned originally. The original script was envisioned as a Dirty Harry in retirement, and then the neighborhood goes wild and crazy on him, and then he settles the scut. He does in them. I think what's kind of neat. I don't want to give out too much about the movie. I haven't seen it, but he never shoots a gun in it, even though he comes close a few times.
Yeah.
But he's a retired guy. But they renamed the guy so he's not Dirty Harry.
Oh.
But if you watch it thinking of it that he's Dirty Harry, it makes more sense than the movie that actually did come out.
Yes. Yeah, see? Dirty Harry at a retirement home. I think it'll be perfect. It's like anybody gets out of line at the meals, it's like, go ahead, make my day.
Yeah.
But you're not going to eat this coleslaw. I'm going to take it.
Why am I always eating this soup?
Nurse.
You know what's weird about Clint is that he's, people used to always joke about his acting, and he's pretty much a one-trick pony. But he but as a director, he's very good.
He's very
good.
good.
He's made 2 great films and Oscar-winning films. And then a lot of his films his westerns are great.
I was going to say, has he ever? No, he did win an Oscar for acting, right? Or he did
Not for
not.
acting, but he
it's only
wanted-
for directing.
But he, a lot of actors have won Oscars for directing, like Robert Redford and Kevin Costner and Richard Attenborough and I'm trying to think of and Clint, of course, twice, and a few others. And part of the deal, Warren Beatty, and part of the deal is that they're probably not going to win Oscars as actors. So we could honor them this way, and also. Usually, if an actor directs a movie, he's usually very good. He knows what actors are like, so he usually gives them a lot of, and they're usually friends with a lot of those guys. So they give them a lot of leeway, and they can't wait though to work, because usually a lot of directors that are famous for making good movies, like Martin Scorsese and people like that, they're not really actors. Steven Spielberg. You might see him in a cameo here and there.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not
Yeah.
they're just playing themselves or something.
Yeah, it was more like the Stan Lee approach. Stan Lee would always have a cameo, but I know he didn't direct a lot of the Marvel movies, but he did direct some.
You know that Stan Lee is, I saw it on Jeopardy, he's famous for being a extra or a featured cameo in 40 films before he died. And what's weird about it is he wasn't an actor.
Right.
And he really had very little to do. He had nothing to do with the movies. But he's just there as sort of a homage to the creator. But what was weird about it is that I saw on 60 Minutes the whole thing about Stan Lee, and he doesn't really own any of those characters, and the only thing he gets paid for is any appearances he makes He was making. He lived to be like in his late 90s,
Yes.
signing autographs and posing for photos and appearing at. I mean, he was a good promoter, but but the guys in New York and the tall buildings owned Spider-Man and all those, and the Fantastic Four and all those other things.
Unfortunate.
Well, that's the way cartoons are. I think we talked about this on another show. Was that like Mike Judge, who did
Beavis and Butthead?
Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. Beavis and Butthead. He didn't get paid anything for that, pretty much, and the only thing he got paid for was actually working on it, writing scripts for it and doing voices and stuff.
What?
But he didn't get any of the merchandising or anything.
Oh.
And so when he did King of the Hill, and luckily that was a big hit, he kind of worked it out in his deal that he would make what he didn't make. He was a butthead. In other words, if you want my talent, you're going to have to. Trouble is, Schuster and Siegel, the teenagers who created Superman in the late 1930s from Cleveland, they sold it for like $150 or something.
Oh,
Superman, which was a lot of money in the.
True.
But they didn't make the billions that it generated ever since. But they did get. I think over time they got something. They didn't even get credit for the most time. And now in the Superman movies, they do mention them.
Oh, okay.
So when you get a credit in a movie, you get paid.
Yeah, nice. You
never ask for, what's the old joke in movies? Never ask for net points because they don't exist. Always ask for gross points.
Gross points.
I think the only time it ever existed was, the actors in the first Star Wars movie. They got net points because they didn't think it was going to be a big hit, and then they said, "Well, give us that." And then actually, that did become it, and there was net that because it was actually not all that expensive, and it made so much more money.
Heck yeah!
Now, there was a movie called Forrest Gump, and the year it was made, it got all. It was the most expensive movie. It was the most popular movie. It was the most critically acclaimed movie. Won an Oscar for Best Picture and everything. And I think it was at that time like the fourth highest grossing film of all time. And then at the end of it all, the Paramount Pictures or the producers or something said the movie lost money. Which Roger Corman made the famous quote. I think they should have gotten the special Oscar, most creative accounting. Evidently, they didn't want to pay certain people for their participation.
I did not know that movie lost money.
No, it didn't. It did not lose money.
Oh, okay.
They just, once you cook, I wouldn't say cook the books, but once you move the money around enough times, you know.
That sounds like a show that I know. Sounds like The Producers to me.
The Producers, yeah. There's actually a movie like The Producers that was made something like 20 or 30 years before The Producers that actually. That's the plot, and it's not a comedy. It's the serious. It was some sort of. I've never seen the movie. I think it had Adolphe Menjou or something. but but then of course the Zero Mostel, and then the version with Gene Wilder, and then also the version with with Nathan Lane on Broadway and stuff. That is so funny.
It is.
The Producers. Funny you mentioned The Producers. There are two movies, The In-Laws and The Producers, that if I'm watching it and if I'd change the channel and halfway through it, I missed the first half. I'll still watch the end of the time. And then the commercial, I have to force myself away because it's so funny. A friend of mine told me he's that way with Elvis movies. If he sees a glimpse of Elvis, I was like, I'm staying it. Yeah, I have to watch it for the rest of the show.
Well, tell you the truth, speaking of good old Elvis, I don't know, Mary and Kevin, I don't know if y'all watched the Stanley Cup last night.
No, tell us about it.
Okay, well,
tell Mary. I already know.
Yeah, he already knows. No, but the Vegas Golden Knights won it all.
Oh, okay.
They won the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
All
So they're an expansion team right now?
Well, they've been in NHL for 6 years.
Oh, 6 years.
But yes, they are an expansion team. They're from birth, and they were given to Las Vegas by the NHL, and 6 years. Boom, Stanley Cup champion.
A bastion of ice hockey.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. And Elvis is going to host the Stanley Cup.
Now, so 6 years from start to finish, they win the Stanley Cup.
They win the Stanley Cup.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
I think Calvin Coolidge was the president.
Yeah, I think he was. Well, the first year Las Vegas did go to.
Who they beat Las Vegas?
They beat the Florida Panthers in 5 games.
Okay.
The game last night, they beat the Florida Panthers 9-3. That was a butt whipping.
That's like a baseball score.
Yes. But
9 goals in a game.
9 goals in a game. And Stone, who's the captain, had a hat trick, got 3 goals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, usually if a team, I've always figured this out. If a team scores more than 7 goals, then probably somebody there had a hat trick. And the coach says to the defenseman, was anyone blocking that guy?
It's like if somebody has like 7 or more goals on the ice, and they scored against my team, I'd just take my skates off and just go home.
Yeah.
I give up.
You know, I wanted to be a baseball player when I grew up. When I was a kid, and when I grew up, I wanted to be a baseball player. But I didn't have it. And I thought I'd want to play for my favorite team. Yeah. My favorite team would really want me. But Atlanta Braves. But what happened was I did not become a baseball player. But then I saw a hockey game here in Richmond, and I said, I think I could do that. But then I started, I was a very good roller skater.
Okay.
I mean, I started roller skating. I was pretty good at it. But then I started, then ice rinks came into being, and I started skating. But I realized something that you need to know when you're a hockey player that I did not know, was you have to know how to skate backwards.
Yes.
And I could follow a guy, run after him, but you can't. The guy has a puck in his hand. You can't really just run. You can't really just follow him because he's still open. I also have pretty good teeth.
Yes.
And I still have them.
Yes. I would like to keep.
So I didn't worry too much about in the long run. I'd rather just go to the game.
I don't blame you. So would I. Yeah. But Las Vegas in their first year, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but lost to Washington.
Yeah.
And
I remember that. That was a big deal. Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's our. Yeah. It's our area.
That's right.
All right. Washington,
Yeah, congratulations to them, and congratulations to the Denver Nuggets, too.
Yeah, they're watching this show. They're big.
They are.
They're big fans of
They're big fans. They're partying with the Stanley Cup right now and the NBA trophy watching this program.
They used to put the names. I think they still do.
They do.
I think there's a second Stanley Cup now.
Yes.
Because they filled up all the names. They put the names of everybody. Anyway, I understand we only have a few more minutes. Mary.
Yes.
You are an absolute delight.
Thank you.
And it's so wonderful. And Mary and I are going to make a personal appearance at, let me remind everybody, at the Virginia Museum
of Fine Arts on Friday.
at 7 o'clock on Friday.
Oh, okay.
June 15th, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
And that June, is that the month we're in?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so bring all your
June
friends.
16th, they say.
16 is Friday.
Oh, the 16th. Well, don't go there the 15th. You'll miss us.
Yeah.
All right. So go to, and then we're going to have more personal appearances promoting the show and get to know the people. Get to know the people. We're just like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
We are.
Maybe a little richer and drive a nicer car, but we're just like you. Pay fewer taxes. That's true. I make much less money.
Yes.
All right, and thank you, Vinny Mac,
Yes,
for coming
sir.
here.
Yes.
You're great.
Thank you.
much.
Mary Elizabeth. It's always beautiful seeing you.
Yes. Isn't she something?
Yeah, she puts both of us to shame, so
Yes.
she brightens up the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a man of great humility.
Yes.
I've never been more humiliated in my life.
Oh, I wanted to let y'all know that I am going to bring a guest host. I mean, not a guest host, but a guest star. A guest star next week.
Guest star, okay.
Right.
Special
Special guest star.
We'll talk about
Yes.
him later.
It may not even be a him.
Oh!
Ooh,
Even better.
Yeah. It may not even be a him.
I see men all the time.
Yeah.
I see naked men every day. in the locker room. Really?
Yeah.
No fun.
No fun at all. It's like you wish you can go to the other side.
Bye, everyone.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Yes, God bless you all. Bye-bye.